Welcome to the Love and Invention, the Three Things series. We're going to get right into it. So the first thing I learned being a husband that I could not have learned until we got married, woman, is that mutual submission is the key to marriage, right?
It's the key.
It's the key.
All right.
What happens a lot of times is that you hear a lot of talk about how men are supposed to be the head of the house, and I am. This is true. But how women are supposed to be submissive to their husband, and that's true. But if you read the entire scripture, the Bible tells us that we're supposed to submit to each other. So what really drove this mutual submission point home for me is the scripture that says, "Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." When you really think about what that really means, is that Christ submitted his life to the Father to save us. So as a husband, it's my job to submit my life to the Lord for my wife. And that means I'm going to have to listen and submit to some of the things that she needs to. So mutual submission is the key to a successful marriage.
So the three things I learned being a wife. The first one is allow home to be a safe haven from the storm. And it's always a good idea for each spouse to allow home to be a place where you can go to get away from family, friends, situation, consequences, work, all the things.
All the things.
It's a place where you should feel safe, you should feel open and available, you should feel loved and protected.
Yeah.
So allow home to be a safe haven from the storms.
That's a good one. I always feel safe when I come home. So the second thing I learned being a husband is the importance of consideration. Now this one, I'm still learning. As you can see my wife's face, I'm still learning. We're doing this. We're working this thing out together. This marriage, this faith walk. We're learning and growing together. But the importance of consideration, thinking about what would be important or meaningful to my wife, no matter where I am. If I'm at Walmart or if I'm at work or if I'm wherever I am, somewhere else that starts with a W.
Right, all the W's.
All the W's. The importance of considering her feelings, her thoughts, and her needs. And I say learn while being a husband because you can't really learn that, I think, unless you're responsible for and to another person in this way. You don't learn it being a boyfriend. You can practice it, but as being a husband and being married, I think that it becomes more critically important for you to consider your spouse.
Yeah, because as you grow closer together in a marriage relationship, you begin to learn more about each other, and you realize that there are different kinds of consideration you have to consider.
Yeah, so I'm still learning that one. My wife is helping me along, and you know, by the time we're married 50 years, I might get it 50% right.
That don't work.
So that was the second one.
And so my second thing that I learned being a wife is that it's okay to be vulnerable with my husband. And due to my experiences growing up and my missteps as a young adult, I didn't allow myself to be vulnerable. And so when I went into this marriage, I wasn't prepared to be vulnerable. But as we grew together and learned each other, I learned that it's okay for me to be vulnerable. It's okay for me to show all the sides of who I am, and that I can be protected in those spaces. And so it's okay to be vulnerable.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's interesting to hear you say, you know, you're learning how to be vulnerable while we're married, because when we got together, you were way more open and vocal about how you felt and than I was. So it's as we're growing and learning, I'm still figuring that thing out. That could have been on both our lists. It's okay to be vulnerable.
It's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah. All right. So that leads into my last one, which is I'm not as strong as I thought I was.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Not as strong as I thought I was.
And it's okay, though.
And it's okay.
I love you.
I love you too. And it's okay. Because of what you just said. It's okay to be vulnerable with your spouse. It's okay to be. It's okay to say, you know what, I don't have it.
Right.
I don't understand this, or I'm scared. And that's tough for men to say. We listen to several people on different podcasts and things like that. And it's tough for men in particular to say, you know, I'm scared, or I don't have it, or I don't understand this. I don't know what's going to happen next.
Right.
Particularly when you're attempting to be a good husband and lead your family. But it's tough. And I'm not as tough as I thought I was. And I've cried more times than I want to admit. But only with her. Mostly. Sometimes in public.
Right.
But it's okay. And it's okay for husbands to be weak sometimes, or husbands to be vulnerable sometimes, because you have a good wife that can hold you up and encourage you.
Right. And it's okay to say, you know, I don't know where this is leading us. I don't know where to go, but I know we need to go there.
Right.
Or I don't know how to do this. I can't put this table together. Whatever. I
can put tables together, though. Don't put that out there. All our furniture stays together.
Yeah. Okay. So my last one is always text, talk to, write a letter to, send a message through carrier pigeon, smoke signal, or something. Send some type of communication to your spouse that allows them to understand what your expectations are and what your plans are. And this is especially important because as you are married and as the days go by, you find new things you're interested in. You find old things you're interested in. You learn new things about yourself. You learn new things about your spouse. And you really need to let them know where you're headed, where you're going, what are your goals, how do your goals work into the family goals,
right.
or how they don't, and allow that spouse and allow that person to be able to support you, help lead you, help guide you, or just help be there.
Right.
Always let them know what your plans are, because if you fail to do that, then you're feeling you feel like your spouse is not there to support you,
right.
or they don't appreciate who you're becoming, or they're not interested in the things you're interested in. So it's always important to communicate your expectations and your plans.
Right. And I think it's really important because I think it's hard to see growth when you're close to somebody.
Right.
So as you're changing and growing, you may not, me as a husband might not notice some things that are changing and growing in you because I'm right here.
Right.
And I haven't, backed away. It's kind of like watching your kids grow up. You look around and you notice that they're like a foot taller.
Right.
And you have to do something about it. So just like having to buy those new clothes for your kid, it's important to let your spouse know what's going on with you so that they can cover you.
Yeah, and it's really important so that you don't fall into the traps of the devil, because then you end up feeling like you guys have grown apart.
Right.
Because you haven't communicated who you are today, who is God, who God is calling you to be today, in that moment, today.
That's a good point.
And that might be different in 5 years or a year.
Or
God
a week.
might be calling you to do something else, and each one of us has a reason why we're on this earth, a calling and a ministry that we are supposed to do, a talent that God would have us to use to better or support or just to do something with. And so it's important to always communicate expectations and plans.
Right.
Because it's okay to be you. You just need to let me know.
Right. That's pretty good. It's okay to be you. Just let me know who that is.
Yeah, let me know.
Right. That's good stuff. Well, this was fun. It was a good one. 3 things I learned being a husband.
3 things I learned being a wife.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast show thing, and share it. Let people know about it. Hit the share button. That's it. That's all I got. Oh, am I supposed to do it? See you next time.